Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Pokey Podcast and a very special episode today because we are joined by our first guest. We have Pat Flynn, aka Deep Pocket Monster. We've been wanting to get him on the channel for a while now. How's it going, Pat? You good?
I'm stoked for this. Thank you both for having me on.
Yeah, we literally we've been like little schoolgirls, just
I
excited to speak to you.
Well, when we started this podcast, the idea was that obviously we'd do our normal podcast episodes, just, us two talking, but we did want it to be a guest-based podcast as well. And we have people on in person and virtually, because obviously, Pat, you're in the States. So obviously, it's not as easy for you to just pop round every now and then to appear in person.
As good as that would be.
Yeah. We are super grateful that you have taken the time out today to join us.
Am I guest number one? Am I the first?
You are guest number one.
No way, let's go.
You are guest number one. Really looking forward to this. And like Dean said, we've been excited to get you on and share you with our audience, although they'll all know who you are anyway.
So the first question we were going to ask you is, obviously, to the people who are watching or even listening don't know a bit about you. I'm sure, as Chloe just mentioned, they probably do. Do you want to just give us a small little background on a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got into the Pokemon scene?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting story. I'm fairly new into the space. At the end of 2020, like many other people, or the end of 2021, I got really, really into it. And with the whole Logan Paul thing, I got caught up in that wave and whatnot. And, I got involved with PokeRev and being just following his channel and just really falling in love with it. Why in the first place? Because my kids got into it, actually. I played Magic the Gathering when I was a kid, and I always thought Pokemon was like for little kids. And I actually worked at Toys R Us. I was 18 working at Toys R Us in 1999 when Base Set came out. And I remember every Saturday I'd had to come to Toys R Us at 7 in the morning and set up tables for all the kids to come in and play Pokemon. And they all had their Base Set Charizards in their pocket with rubber bands wrapped around them. Now I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we let that happen. But we just wanted to make sure the kids were cool. And they were playing and it was fun. But I was like, Magic's better. Magic is like more adult-like and whatnot. But then now that I'm an adult and I have kids and they got into Pokemon, and then I started learning about it and then seeing all of you and the YouTubers doing it too, I was just like, I love this. This is awesome. I feel like a kid again. And I wish I actually played Pokemon instead of Magic back in the day, because I'd be that much more ahead. And I don't know. But for me, many people know that I am not full-time Pokemon. I'm actually an entrepreneur. I have several businesses that I own. I started my first business helping people pass an architectural exam in 2008. I had gotten laid off from architecture, started to help people in that space, help them pass an exam, and that actually blew up. It exploded. And then a lot of people asked me, how did you do that? How did you survive the Great Recession of 2008? And I started a business helping people pass an exam, and then people started asking me how I did that. And so I started another business called Smart Passive Income, which is where most people in the world know me from now, because I have books, I speak on stage, I have courses, and I mentor and I coach in that world of business. But the hobby of Pokemon has definitely caught my attention as of late. And I'm applying a lot of what I've learned as an entrepreneur and especially a YouTuber. I've been on YouTube since 2009. So I've been on it for a while.
Wow.
But now with Deep Pocket Monster, it's like I'm taking everything I learned, all the mistakes that I made, and I'm applying it now to this space. And 14 months in, we're 150,000 subscribers in, basically. And every video has like over 100,000 views now. And it's kind of way beyond whatever I thought it could be. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of the community now and bring my own sort of special sauce into it and bring value in the way that I know how to bring value. Not try to compete with anybody else, not try to pretend I'm an expert or anything like that, but just bring whole family fun and goodness and some education along the way, with just making a lot of fun of myself as I go along. And it's been well received. And again, I'm just so grateful to be a part of this community. It's been really fun, and I have some big plans to offer more value to the community as we go along.
Yeah, you definitely have, like you mentioned, your own spice, and you definitely do add some amazing value to the community, because we were going to talk about your channel. And as you said, you're not trying to compete with anyone. You're kind of just doing your own thing, which is very unique and really cool, because we're seeing videos from you that not many, or if anyone, is really doing. For instance, you're doing your experiment type videos, which are really interesting. And my question was, is that sort of the thing that really intrigues you? Obviously, you're doing the video, so it must at a certain point, but is that more of the thing you kind of are more intrigued of, rather than kind of maybe opening packs or doing what other people are potentially doing for their content?
That's a great question. I love opening packs. It's my favorite thing to do. I think we all love opening packs, right? So there's definitely, I still have that love. And I try to incorporate that, especially in my live streams and whatnot. But a lot of these interesting video ideas like the Slab Shaker 3000 or testing how the sunlight affects things, those are all a result of me getting into this hobby and just being curious. Well, what happens if I do that? What is actually real? And when I do research, it's like I get so many different conflicting thoughts about these things. I'm just like, well, somebody has to step up and test this. It might as well be me. Do you want to hear insight on like the next experiment video that I'm doing?
Yes.
I think we could get a sneak peek.
I think we'd love to hear a sneak peek.
You'll be the first to know. It's these things are bigger productions, so it takes a while. So here's how it's going to work. A lot of people have been asking me, how does my location affect my cards? Like some places are more humid, some places are colder, some places are warmer. That obviously has to have an effect in some way, but what is that effect? So the thing that I'm doing, I actually did some research and found, because what I need is a controlled environment. I'm not going to fly to Florida. I'm not going to fly to the UK to experiment with this, but I need like a container that allows me to have a specific humidity and heat. So I found out that cigar cabinets, I don't smoke or anything like that, but in research, I found that cigar cabinets have a way, because apparently people who smoke cigars want them to be a certain humidity and temperature. I can actually get one of those cabinets. It's actually in that box right there, right behind.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have one that I want to experiment with, and I can set the temperature, I can set the humidity, and put some cards in there of different types and see how does it affect. And I can provide at least some sort of value and say, hey, if you live in, like my hypothesis is that if you live in Florida and it's hot and sticky and wet, that your cards are going to be more prone to curling, and your cards are going to be prone to, sticking to each other or something. I don't know. We're going to find out. But if I can be the person who answers those questions, it's providing value. But it's not just like a video that's like, here's a cabinet, let me put this in, here's the thing. All my videos have a story, and there's something at stake. There's a reason to stay till the end. And that helps me, because on YouTube, if I can get people to watch the videos for longer, YouTube will push that video out to more people, and I can provide more value in that way. So it's a little sneak peek.
No, that's incredible. Like I was saying to Dean, like your videos as well, like with the, the experiment video and all that sort of stuff, they just have that different kind of edge to them that we just don't really see anyone else doing. Obviously, everyone opens packs and, everyone does similar sort of content, but I really like seeing the experiments and the things, where you send a box with an air tag in it and all that sort of stuff. Because it's interesting. It's really interesting. People want to know this sort of stuff. And like you said, there's got to be someone out there who's willing to do it. Yeah. So, exactly. No, it's great that you've chosen to do it. So it's keeping us all entertained.
There's also the pick-a-pack videos. I don't know if you've seen those where I have like 3
I said
packs
that to
on the
Dean
screen
earlier.
at a time.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you. And again, I was just like, everybody opens packs. Like they all look the same. Like we don't know what's inside. Like hopefully there's something good, but they're all kind of the same. So how do we change this up? So we did a video a long time ago. It was a short, and it had 36 packs open all at once on one video. It took like 8 hours to render a 30-second video. And we shared it as a short, as an experiment to just go, how do people like or not like this? And they were all like, wow, that's interesting and different and weird. And I don't know how I feel about this, but it's mesmerizing. And when they said that, I was like, ooh, okay, let's try 8 packs at a time and see what happens. And the way that I do it is I'm actually in my ear, bud, I'm listening to a metronome on YouTube. It's just like,
I was about to say,
I always wanted to know how you managed to get it.
Hearing the
all at the same time. It's perfect. I always wanted to know how you managed to get each clip to just line up so symmetric. I'm watching, I'm like, he leaves the exact amount of time between each movement. How do you do it?
I think my marching band experience in high school and college helped me with that, because I'm on time. But I have 16 counts to show the pack, and then I have 16 counts to open up, and then one every 4 counts is the next card, and then you hear that.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this is people can play along. That's how we positioned it. Which one, pick a pack.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I hope I picked the right one. And then you go to the end, and then you keep your score. And it's just people are so positive about that kind of video. And I actually had some people message me and say I love your pick a pack videos. My family and I watch that together, and we compete.
That's incredible.
That's legit. Now you don't even need packs and still enjoy them.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea, because, obviously opening lots of packs and opening them individually can take a long time sometimes. So obviously that kind of style video works perfectly. You get everything at once and it's over, a shorter period of time, which I think works really well as well.
So you've done a few experiments now and you've sneak peeked one. Which would you say is your favorite one you've done so far?
Probably the Slab Shaker 3000. And it's interesting because people who watch that video don't even care about Pokemon, yet they love the video because of the story and the way that it came about. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't seen this video, the premise is if I take a graded card, I'm trying to find like a not good one that I have in front of me.
There'll probably be a Chansey lying around somewhere.
I have one somewhere, but if you shake a PSA card specifically and a CGC, you'll hear like the card bump along the side. And I was just like, is that good? Is that bad? Like what? Yeah. And then I did some research on forums and people were asking the same question. My card isn't tight in there. Is that good? Is it supposed to be like that? So I said, okay, well, can it actually damage your card if you shake it hard enough? So I started out by shaking it just manually, didn't do any damage, built a machine out of Lego to shake it for like an hour or something.
Believe you built that.
I know, that's absolutely incredible.
And then that didn't really damage it. And then I put it on like this jackknife thingy that shook at like 10,000 RPMs or whatever. And then it totally damaged it. And it was just like, hey, we all don't need to worry. But we had a Mythbusters like fun time figuring this out.
What a program.
And like the inspiration for that video was this guy, I don't remember his name. He created a video to see if you can slap a chicken and cook it by slapping it. I don't know if you saw that video, but there was some science out there that if you slap, because it creates friction, right? If you slap a chicken, it creates heat. Can you cook a chicken by slapping it? And I watched this video. The structure of my video is the same structure as his video. Here's the concern. Here's the problem. Here's the build montage. Yeah. And then here's the results. And he called his the Meat Beater 3000, which is hilarious. So and that video went viral and it held my attention. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to pull that inspiration and do it in our space with something that we need answered. And people really love that video. And I still have that machine. I'm not going to take it apart. It's going to be in like a museum somewhere, I think.
It's a historical moment.
That is crazy.
How long does a video like that take to come up with the idea, plan how it's going to like look, and then actually executing it?
Yeah. So in total, that video took probably 3 weeks to film. And it's not like 8 hours every day kind of thing. It's just like every little, because this is on the side for me still. It might be an hour a day of planning or scripting or outlining, or, the build took, 3 hours to figure out, even though you saw like 10 seconds of the time lapse. It takes time, right? And I got this from Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, a huge YouTuber. I watch him, I follow him, I read everything that he talks about because he's very open with how he does YouTube. And he just said, people notice when you take a little bit of extra time to make the video a little better. Like they know that. They don't explicitly say it, but they show it in their watch time. They show it in their clicks. They show it in just YouTube awards you for that. And so I try to put a little bit of extra into every single video. Now, some videos, like, there was one that was like a mystery box that I gave like $1,000 to a kid to build a mystery box to then open. That took 3 months because it just took that long to coordinate. But it wasn't like I sent him, his parents actually, the money to go and buy the thing, and then I waited until that video was done to film the next one. I might have 4 or 5 videos concurrently being worked on at the same time. And that's how I'm able to have like these banger videos come out all the time, is because they're always in motion and they're always coming along. And we have like a production schedule, and we use a Notion board to track, the progress of each of them. Like it's like a movie style production sort of approach to it. But I'll tell you, the biggest thing for any PokeTuber that's out there who wants to like get the best, if you have one thing to take away from this, here's the approach that changed everything. Instead of filming the video and then trying to figure out what the title and thumbnail is, which is how I've done it for years, I take the approach that Mr. Beast teaches, which is create a title and thumbnail that people will want to click on. Go make that video.
Right.
And it's just a completely different way.
That makes sense.
Because now the hook relates to the title and thumbnail that people click on, because that's the only thing they see. That's all you have to work with to convince a person to watch a video, is the title and thumbnail. And so we'll work for a long time on just what's the right title and thumbnail for this. And we share it with people in our community and go, which of these titles do you like, are you more interested in? Why? So we're doing the research so that we get these results that we're getting. A lot of people think, oh, you're just lucky, or you caught it at the right time. But I'm telling you right now, like, we are studying the data and the analytics, and we're making it so that when we come out with these videos, we know they're going to be good, or at least have a better chance.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Like, I think a lot of people think that you just come up with these bright ideas, you film things in half hour, and then this, magical video comes together. And I think there's a lot more that goes on that people don't realize and sort of, pay much attention to. They think it just gets all put together really, really easily, but it's not quite that simple.
At least I have to do that because I'm not an expert in Pokemon, right? I'm not SM Pratt who could literally, I mean, you were there with him.
Yeah.
He could just flip on the camera and talk, and it's valuable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right? And there's no editing, hardly.
No. I mean, his knowledge, like you say, there are people who their knowledge base is just, it's, never ever going to get to that point, and they don't have to think, they don't have to try as such. It's just there for them. So, for the rest of us that want to be able to put out, that more exciting content, we have to take a lot of time and, like you say, research, study. There's a lot that goes on to actually get the final project at the end of it.
Exactly. Or you have something unique about you. Maybe you are just really funny, or maybe you can rap really well off the top of your head, like Harry Mack. Well, then maybe your style is opening Pokemon cards while rapping. I don't know. But you have to find your unique advantage and use that. If you just do a card opening like Twice Baked Jake, or you yell really loud like Pokerev or whatever, like you're just going to be second at best. Yeah. You got to find what's unique about you and bring you into it, because nobody's like you, and that's something you should be using to your advantage.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Like you said, if there's someone already doing it, you're going to have to find something that's either, not necessarily more exciting or crazy, but still something that's like interesting enough that people are like, oh, actually, I want to, get into that as well, and I want to watch that side of things. So yeah, I think what you're doing is great, and the videos are always 10 out of 10.
It always leaves you going, oh, I wonder, like, whatever
the
question is, like, I need to know what is actually going to happen. So it definitely is working. And like you said, you're on 150k subscribers now. You've had a phenomenal year, or since 2021, and we can just see it continually rising. And we like the humidity test. We're excited for that. Just if you're bringing out those sort of content, like, it's just going to be intriguing, and it's, like you said, very unique, and it's to do with you. If that's what you find interesting, then it, like, why would you make content that you're not passionate about, if that makes sense? So
exactly. And so the style of video is important, the bringing uniqueness, but honestly, the thing that's gotten me here is the relationships that I've been able to build, and like with you guys and with Rev and all that stuff. Like, when you step into a space, you don't want to start to ask for things. You need to see what you can do to provide value to it. And that's why I was very big in PokeRev's community, because before I even started the channel, I wanted to be the best moderator who always showed up and always did my best. And I even reached out to PokeRev to see what else I could do for him. And I gave him some advice on stickers and other things that he could do to make the brand even better. So of course, when I came out, he couldn't help but want to support and give back. And I always serve first. It always comes back,
Yeah, no, I agree.
The other thing I was going to mention, because we've actually spoke about it on a previous episode of the Poke Podcast, is that we were talking about the balance between doing stuff to do with Pokemon for your channel and then also stuff for personal. So how, since starting your YouTube channel, how has maybe your personal goals or anything personally related to Pokemon affected,
like,
or maybe
collection goals as such?
Is there anything that's kind of been affected by that?
Yeah, I mean, when I got into Pokemon initially, it was just, let me discover what's here. So I wanted to take like a big grand survey of the different parts of it. And there's trophy cards, there's like vintage cards, and there's, the graded cards, and there's stories, there's the art, like there's so much of it, just so I can find out what my interest is. It's very similar to, when you're growing up, you're still discovering who you are and what you like and what you don't like. It's like dating. I was dating Pokemon cards until I figured out which ones I liked, right? And now I know I want to, go on more dates with Pokemon or Pikachu promos, especially Japanese ones, or I want to go on more dates.
Caught your eye.
Yeah, right? I mean, they're just so amazing. Anyway, that's what's cool, because then I can really enjoy and lean into the things that I like, and I can become perhaps an expert on that later when I just dive more into it, versus, trying to learn everything about everything. And that's very tempting to do, because there's so much out there and it's also exciting. But as I often say, and I've said this in a video before, like, the riches are in the niches. When you niche down, and I know you guys pronounce it niche, and so reaches in the niches doesn't sound as neat. But when you niche down, then all of a sudden a few things happen. And I did this in the space when I discovered what I liked. All the other things didn't matter as much to me anymore. It's not like they don't matter at all, but they're not as important. And so therefore I can save time by not having to learn all about trophy cards, or I can save time by not having to, figure out when the next big vintage auction is happening, because that's not necessarily in my wheelhouse or of importance to me. But when there's Japanese promos and on these Pikachus and these other like amazing stories like JR Rally adventures that are happening in Japan to get these special cards, like that's of interest to me. And that's pretty cool, because now my learning is focused. And when my learning is focused, I learn faster and I become an expert much more quickly. And that's like the secret to learning. I call it lean learning. We don't have to learn everything, because everything already exists at the touch of a Google search. But what you like are interested in should drive what it is that you want to learn. And so that's changed how my collection goals have been. I've also, now that the channel is growing for sure, I'm utilizing a lot of that income that's coming in to buy more, to then give away or showcase in different ways. And it's become a really interesting cycle where now I can purchase things and I do a video on them, and the video ad revenue pays for that thing. So then I can potentially like continue stepping up and going bigger and bigger, which is really nice. I mean, I already have some successful businesses on the side, so I don't need to like take an income in personally from the things that are happening here. But I will say, just being in this space, I'm having so much fun. I love my other work that I do. I've invented stuff before. I have another business that's still running, but it's mostly on autopilot. I have a team that's running a lot of that stuff now. And a lot of the day-to-day work in there is just not fun. But this is fun. And I am like a kid again. And I feel like that creative itch is like I'm able to scratch it now. And it's taking up more of my brain. That's like half of my days spent thinking about Pokemon now.
All spare time is Pokemon.
Has any of like recent presentations had like Pikachus on it?
Yeah.
On the slides?
Creeping into your other businesses.
It does. Even people now, because my brand at Smart Passive Income is very much tied to just me as a personality. And I'm very open with who I am and what I do. So people have been following along on the Deep Pocket Monster journey from the other side, on the entrepreneurial side. And it's cool because it provides a case study and inspiration to people starting businesses, because they're like, wait, you didn't know anything about Pokemon 14 months or like 16 months ago, and you've built a business that's already earning this much money, and you're helping people, and you're getting thank yous, and you're building relationships there, and Pokemon's already reaching out to you. I guess I could do that too if I really focused and lean in. And then it's just become a nice story to tell to others who are also starting something new.
No, that's incredible.
So I remember when you first started, I believe you were speaking about, I think you wanted to get every sealed pack graded. Is that correct? Was that a goal at one point?
It is still a goal. I'm very close. However, the goal initially was every sealed pack in the WotC area graded a 10.
Oh,
PSA graded 10. So big ask.
Goals.
I had huge goal. And then it was like, okay, I started to submit packs, started to get many of them back, many of them 10s, some of them not 10s. And I said, okay, this is going to be a lot harder to get all 10s across the board. And it's going to be very expensive. So let me just first like narrow down the goal. Let's just get all graded packs. Like no matter what the grade is, I want them in slabs first. And then I can like pick and choose which ones to upgrade later. And then the whole debacle with Logan happened with a certain company that is actually the company that grades these packs. It is through PSA, but they distribute their sealed pack grading to this company in Indiana, which is the same company that authenticated this box that was fake. Now I don't know if I could trust them. And of course, Rusty sent some packs. I think they were Neo packs at one point that he sent sealed. Why would he send them open? But he sent them sealed, and they came back opened. And that I'm just like, I'm not sending my Skyridge and Aquapolis packs for grading if that could potentially happen. So I'm kind of in limbo right now, and I'm just trying to get all the packs now. I'm very close. I just need a couple more Neos and Legendary Collection, which Chloe, you sent us all an Instagram message the other day showing us your Legendary Collection packs.
I know. They are sealed tight in my personal collection.
So good.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm here, so you might find one with a little bit of a...
I'll look and they'll be gone.
There'll be a Diglett in there.
Why are there only 3 packs?
I love Legendary Collection.
So if that collection, or if that goal, is on hold, do you have a new goal that you're trying to work towards, or is there anything that's kind of sparked your like inspiration that you're like, oh, I kind of want to get that now? Or
I'm trying to find interesting stories in cards in Pokemon, right? So there's these, I mentioned them earlier, the JR rally. There's a rally that happens every single year in Japan on the train line where kids could go with a little pamphlet and stickers and stamps to go around town and like explore the city. But then if they get them all or at certain stops, they get certain promo cards.
Yeah.
And then in 2002, there's this really amazing piece of artwork set that like all the 6 cards, it's like Mewtwo, Pikachu, Raichu, and a few others. Pichu's in there as well, and Celebi. Like it's all one artwork if you put them together. And it's just like they were actually inspired by Smash Brothers. Which was like the art for that is very similar to Smash Brothers artwork. It's just like, that's such a cool story to pull out. Like, let's pull that out and showcase it. And I want those cards. And then like the Mario Pikachu and the story behind that and the XY promo that happened, which is just my favorite thing is Mario and Nintendo. So when I saw that was a huge pickup that I needed to have. So anything that there's like an interesting story behind it, and they're usually promo cards. Right. I still love the sets. I'm still trying to collect master sets of more recent sets like Brilliant Stars. Looking forward to Astral Radiance and all the things that are happening this year. That's really exciting. But the stories, like the interesting stories and connections that can be made are just so fascinating. Like the lore behind it is really incredible.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like, I guess the most recent one, and you actually showed us, you finally completed it, is the soccer promos that were to do with England. There we go. The Pikachu on the ball, which is probably at one point the most
sought after elusive card in the UK.
Yeah, which Pat owns 2 of by the looks of. So yeah, no, like you said, I really do also really like the cards that have that story or lore behind them, because it just also just brings in that you have a tighter relationship with that card. There can be a card that just looks really nice, but for instance, I would love to own the Pokemon Snap cards back in the day, because Pokemon Snap was one of my favorite games growing up as a kid. So obviously they're very, very, very rare and very expensive.
I Magic card just got sold, right?
Yeah, I get that whole idea of the story behind the cards. I really like the Masaki promos, the Japanese promos, and just like you said, there's a bit more to it. It's not just a card from a set. There's something else, there's meaning, there's something else that went into the reason why that card exists. So I think that's a great idea as well.
I mean, I love what you said there, because when you think of like a regular like card from a set, right, like a Caterpie or something, you look at it and you're just like, oh, they just slapped a Caterpie artwork, probably a reprint on the new card in the new set, and it's like that's the decision. Like, okay, Caterpie, let's just use an old photo. But like a promo has like, I'm imagining like a boardroom of people talking about this card and making a decision. Oh, it has to do this or has to look like that. Which artist are we going to hire? And like to be in that room would have been so amazing to help me. And it's like, why did the card look like that? I don't know. That's going to be so amazing. However, I will say there are some cards in certain sets, like a lot of the alternate art cards that are coming out now. They're just so amazing. And then I have like this Latios card, which is like, yes,
I pulled that the other day.
I was gonna say,
did you?
Yeah,
this is such a beautiful, like the artwork is so it's from a set, but somebody had to decide to draw a card like this.
Yeah, these ideas come from someone and somewhere, and whether it's a group of people in a room or whether it's one person sparks something, it all comes from somewhere. And I think it's
so interesting,
especially with the alternate arts, what they're doing at the moment. I think they're doing such a great job with all of that.
But I feel like they could do more. For instance, I feel like they're just missing a trick with the likes of obviously Arceus, the new game that came out. Imagine they did something in the game where you had to take a picture of Arceus at a certain time or a certain place, and the first person to do that got like a card, or like incredible. They got that picture as a card. Like that's just something that just adds so much more hype to the game, to the collector side. And I just feel like those sort of things, like we mentioned with the Pokemon Snap, and
it would be like
that, it's just a really cool crossover to the TCG, and then also just something that is a massive chase, not only in the game but also for collectors as well.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many other things that I think Pokemon could do. I don't know if they're good ideas or not. Pratt would probably have a lot more to say about this, but I know that in Magic, for example, there's certain cards that there's a limited number of them, and they actually have like 1 out of 500, 2 out of 500.
Yeah, I've heard about those.
That would be wicked, and I don't know if that'd be good, because then it would just, I'm imagining a lot of
carnage.
Yeah, exactly. But then the other thing that I thought of, I was at an event yesterday, and it was a lot of Web 3.0 stuff being spoken about. So a lot of NFT, non-fungible token type stuff, which is still a little in over my head. It's like a language that I'm trying to learn about. But my buddy showed me, he watches a show, and he's a huge fan of a show called Walking Dead, right, on AMC. I've actually been to a Walking Dead convention, by the way. I did not cosplay, but I am a fan as well. But I didn't know that recently they came out with their own NFT drop. And what that means is there's like a digital token of sorts that there are only a certain number of, right? And it's like it's not just a monkey picture, but it's like an actual thing that moves, but it's a coffin and it spins. And it's like, on this date, you will find out what's inside your coffin. And there's only a certain number of them. And when the date happens, it's sometime in April this year, everybody's coffin who has one is going to open. They all purchased one, and they're going to have an item inside of sorts. It's like a virtual item, but there will only be a certain amount of these items that exist. And then they're going to have a marketplace where they're going to be able to sell these things or share them, and you can have a very unique piece. And I'm just imagining, what if Pokemon one day got into NFTs? It just is primed for something like this. Definitely. Where you could purchase or get gifted a Pokeball. You don't know what's inside your Pokeball or pack even. And on a certain date, it opens and you see what's inside, and you might have a rare thing, you might have a common thing or what have you, and you can exchange it with other people. You can start building your virtual collection with it or whatnot. And perhaps certain, ones give you access to certain things. If you get the rare Charizard, you're also invited to, Willy Wonka's factory, right? Yeah. I mean, there's so many like cool applications and utility of it that are beyond just like the piece that you have. And then maybe it evolves over time, and then you could share it, right? Like if that's like, what if it's just,
the possibilities are endless. Like if you keep thinking about it, you'll go down such a deep rabbit hole that you'll be gone and you won't be coming back.
Because I literally was thinking the same sort of thing, but you could also do it in relation to the actual anime. So for instance, you could have the part or the scene where Charmeleon evolves into Charizard for the first time, or Ash meets Pikachu for the first time, and it's just like, people could also love that because you grew up watching the anime. I was
gonna say, like there's a meaning. Yeah.
There's going to be people who want that sort of thing. There's going to be a meaning, like you said. So, like I said, the possibilities are endless, because I think the main thing is what do you get with it? I think when people start having benefits for owning that NFT, that's when people are going to go crazy for it. But I mean, people, it's in our DNA to love collecting stuff and stuff like that. So I'm sure it will happen.
And as the world evolves, and like you say, NFTs are sort of taking off, and there's a lot, everything's digital now. I think we'll see some evolving down the line with that sort of stuff.
What's your where do you sit? Do you prefer a physical item, or would you prefer to own a digital item?
Good question.
I mean, physical for sure. I mean, there's just nothing like touching things, right? And even in my other business, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I teach things like podcasting and email marketing and these things that are very digital, right? But then when I invented the Switch Pod, which is a tripod, which is very different, it took a lot longer. There's a little bit more money involved in creating an actual thing. But like when I give it to somebody, or somebody purchases it at like an event and I hand it to them and they open the package, it's like, you can use it right there, and they see it in their eyes, and it opens and closes. And like when I sell a course, for example, it's like, cool, I have a course. Now I have to like watch the videos, and then I have to implement the things. And it's like, how do I know it's going to work? And all that kind of stuff is the stuff I'm trying to combat when I'm selling. But with a physical product, I mean, the touch and the feel and just the audible sounds that go with it and whatever. Hopefully your Pokemon cards aren't making sounds though, but you like put them on a bike tire and it's like, right? I know some people do that with Pokemon cards. Don't do that with your Pokemon cards, but physical products for sure. And there's like to see it in real life. And I think that as things get more digital, as the metaverse happens and whatever, and as we are in virtual worlds, whether that happens, like if we're in that more, what's going to be more special? The real physical in-person, in real life things. Those are going to be a luxury at some point, right? Like being able to go on the beach and just go on a walk in real life is going to be like a luxury versus the digital world, which we're all heading to. So it's just fascinating and interesting, and what a time to be in. I mean, I don't know how I feel because I have young kids who are 9 and 12, and it's like when I was 9 and 12, we didn't even have phones or anything like that. It was like we got to play outside with people, and that's what we did. And now it's just like they're on FaceTime with their friends. It's like, don't you want to go to their house? Like, no, I'm going to be on Fortnite. I have to be here on the server playing with them. And I'm just like, this is so different now.
Or they're watching concerts in a game It's like you could go to an actual
You could
concert.
actually just go out with real people and do real things. Like everything is so
I mean,
so
maybe
digital.
not during COVID time, but
exactly.
Yeah.
But as things start to open back up, and it's nice to know there's actual real humans out there still.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope we get to see each other in person someday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that was great.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I know. We'll bring Dean next time.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. Okay, so I can see you behind you, or to your, I'm guessing, left. You have is that the Great Wall of booster boxes behind you?
This is the Great Wall of booster boxes. There's about 25 here, all the XY, all the Sun and Moon, and then I'm building this, all the Sword and Shield. And I have a few other ones here. I have a Pokemon the Movie Tops, Pokemon the Movie booster box sealed. I have a Call of Legends box, which is sealed. And then I do want to get into Black and White, Diamond and Pearl, and maybe make my way back. But it's starting to get, like, once you get beyond Sun and Moon, it's like, man, you need kind of like a lot of cash.
It gets expensive
to
get into those boxes, right?
But what would you say is your favorite booster box? I think I saw you posted on Instagram a picture of the Call of Legends. Is that
such a nice booster box?
Is that your favorite one?
Call of Legends, it's this is gonna sound weird. It's not my favorite, but it's my most prized one because it's just so valuable, right? It's so rare to have a sealed Call of Legends. So I have that. I'm gonna hold on to it for a while, but if I part ways with it in the future, I'll be okay. I'll probably make some money off of that. However, some of my favorite sets on this wall, at least, Lost Thunder is amazing. And then I have a really, really big heart for Phantom Forces. Nice. And that's because one of the first cards that I bought, just because I loved it, was a PSA 10 silver Dialga from that set. Oh, yeah. It's the only silver card that Pokemon's ever made, which is why I liked it. Again, I like the story behind it. Yeah. And then I checked the price 6 months later and was like, it blew up. And then I have another Dialga now. And then I'm in the works in a conversation to get a third PSA 10 Dialga. And there's, I think, 36 that are total at PSA 10. Wow. And so Phantom Forces is really cool. It has Gengar is featured in there as well.
I was going to say, is that something that kind of you go after? Do you go after low pop cards and try and get a few of them just to have like that sort of rarity title, I guess, where you kind of like, I own quite a lot of the very low pop cards?
I did. And then I thought about continuing that with other cards. And I was just like, that's not as interesting to me. The Dialga is very interesting to me, and I'm just going to continue to try and get as many of those as possible. Not even because I'm trying to control the market or what have you. I just really love that card. And then, if there comes an opportunity to sell them down the road, well, then I'll still have some left and still have the card that I really love. So that's kind of the idea there. But no, I never really got into hoarding other collections as much as possible. I like again, the promo cards and the Pikachus especially. And then these booster boxes, then like we were talking about earlier, the sealed packs, and I'm still working on that. That's probably my biggest goal right now.
Yeah, it's a great goal.
I can see the sleeved base set booster
pack
at the top there.
I can see that right at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Charizard.
These, I feel very blessed because I was recently invited to speak at Leonhardt's pop-up shop.
Yeah,
right?
that was incredible.
He invited me as a VIP, and then 2 days before, he was like, "Hey, Pat, do you want to host the virtual stage?" And I was like, "Are you serious? This is crazy." I've been on stage before, but I've never been more nervous because first time doing it with Pokemon and this worldwide audience for this biggest event in Pokemon in a long time. Yeah. And it was so much fun. Anyway, Leonhardt gifted me one of these as a thank you. And it was this Blastoise. Actually, he gifted me a couple of them. And I was just like, I need to get the Charizard now to fulfill the set. And it was just he didn't pay me or anything, but it was just like, hey, man, you did a great job. Thank you. Here, take this. And I was like, this? Are you serious? He was very generous, and I gotta tell you, I know that he got a lot of flack for that event because maybe it wasn't perfectly organized, and certain people at different pricing levels didn't get the things that they expected. But he was working so hard to try and make everybody happy, and he really you can tell in his videos, but in real life, just to confirm, he's so in love with his community and trying to do as much as he can. Yeah. Almost too much. He's kind of burning out now because he has so much love for the community, if you've seen some of his recent videos. But just such a genuine guy, and he's in it for the right reasons.
I think the thing with something like the event is it's always going to be near impossible to have the perfect first event, just because you don't know what to expect.
Until you do something once, you don't know what's the right thing, obviously you can plan out every situation in your head, but you have to actually do it, physically experience it. And that's how you learn. Then you come back bigger, better, you know, you make those adjustments, you listen to the feedback, but no one is perfect first time. And if you are, then that's a miracle. So yeah, I think you have to do these things. And like you said, just the way it came across in his videos, he really meant like well with everything he did. And, you know, you're not going to please everyone, but it looked like, obviously I watched some of the stream, because the whole event was streamed. But yeah, it looked incredible, and I wish we could have been able to go to that.
It would have been really good. And also, congrats, you smashed it with the hosting.
Yeah, so. You did a great job.
Thank you. Honestly, I take that stuff very seriously. So like the night before, because I'm not I didn't grow up with it, I was studying. I was trying to read as much as I could about each of these sets that I knew were going to be opened up, so that I wouldn't miss a beat. And you know, I could have done better. Everybody can, but I think I did okay. The hard part was I wanted to get the chat involved, because the chat I know was sort of just kind of watching, and I wanted to highlight some of the things that were being said in the chat and make them feel heard. And, you know, as I was scrolling through, I noticed there were a number of people who were trolling in there, saying even not so nice things about me personally, like, who is this guy? Get him off the stage, kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm so used to hearing that now, not because people want me off stages, but being in business for this long and being a creator for this long.
Yeah.
You open yourself up to people who, for whatever reason, they might have something going on in their life, and they just happen to come across your channel or your feed or whatever, and they just kind of use you as a way to make themselves feel better. And hurt people always hurt people, right? So whenever I get a troll comment now, and I do, or a hater who comes across, I'm like, are you okay? What can I do to help you? There's got to be something going on in your life that is getting you to say these mean things about a stranger that you've never met before on the internet. There has to be something going on. And in my other business, many times I've actually reached out to those haters and trolls, and some of those people now are my biggest fans. Because finally somebody actually listened to them and cared enough to give them some time to express themselves. And then, you know, ultimately, many times, not always, but they apologize and they're sorry, and then they become big fans. And I think that this space, as awesome as Pokemon is, it does have its sort of negative side. There are people who are just negative Nancy's out there. And I think that part of my channel's role is to, let's kind of shield some of that. Let's just bring as much positivity as possible. And I know you do the same, Chloe and Dean, and there's so many other positive people in this space that we just have to keep showing up, because it does make people feel better. And it also shields us from a lot of the not so great things that are happening in the world and in these communities. So again, I just want to be a good representative for everybody.
Yeah. No, it's a great mindset. And like you said, the more positivity that we can put out there, the more it drowns out that negativity and brushes that to the side. And people won't even bother because they don't get, you know, the reaction or whatever it is they're looking for. But like you say, when you're on the internet, content creating mainly, you open yourself up to the world. Those strangers, you know, people behind a keyboard might say things that they wouldn't say in person. So you just, you know, it's just learning to deal with it. But yeah, positivity is definitely the way forward, I think.
I think it's most of the time it's just people, they write these sort of things because they think they're going to get ignored. And then if you actually take the time to say, hey, is everything okay? Or I'm sorry you feel this way, but maybe if you actually did this or whatever, then they actually go, oh my God, you replied, I actually didn't mean that, sorry, blah, blah, blah. So half the time it's attention seeking, but at the same time, like you said, if you actually, and sometimes it's difficult to do, because if someone's saying something nasty to you, the natural thing is to either ignore it or just
be defensive.
But if you actually come with a positive mind, or be like, hey, is everything okay? Or thank you for your criticism, but this is what I thought, then sometimes, like you said, you've changed some of your biggest haters to your number one fans. So YouTube is just a weird place that once you've been on it, because I've been on it for 6 years or 7 years, you kind of realize what human activity is like on this platform. It's interesting.
It's all psychology, you know. And it's funny when I get a negative comment, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like all butterflies and rainbows all the time. I get upset sometimes and I react. And so I'll type this long response that disproves everything they say. And then I look at it and I just delete. It's gone. You know, it's the same thing as if somebody cuts you off on the road and you give them the finger, but the finger is below the window line, so they never see it. It's it's just for you. It's just for you to say that.
No, I hear that.
You've got to let it out somewhere.
So we mentioned events, obviously with the Leonhardt shop. a new event that is just, or not new, an event that's actually been finally announced is the Worlds, which is actually happening in London for the first time. I think it's the first time out of North America as well.
Yeah.
Which
chosen
is
London.
Yeah, finally.
That's so cool.
Which is, I think, the 19th of August, or it's around that time.
Yeah, I think it runs for 4 days. I think it's the 18th and 19th, and then runs from like the Thursday to the Sunday.
Which I'm super hyped for. I know you're super hyped for.
We've been waiting for the official announcement because it's been, everything got pushed back because of COVID, and then it was like, well, is it going to happen this year? Are they even going to bother doing it in London? Are they going to, and finally we've had the official announcement. It is happening. It's in London. So yeah,
That's so awesome.
Really excited for that.
Is this something that you could potentially be interested in coming across to experience, or do you have any plans for it?
It might be tough. International travel, my wife and I decided that we probably wouldn't do it this year. And so I don't know if that's going to be able to happen. I'll definitely be there in spirits for sure. However, it's a big event and I'm becoming a top creator in this space. And I feel like I might have to represent. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just glad that it is happening, whether I go or not, because I was worried that it was just going to get pushed back again and then again. And I think it's important for, even though we are collectors and, we're not hardcore players, I play online, but like, I think it's important for the playing to continue to happen because that's really what these cards are supposed to be used for.
Yeah.
And also the more events that happen, the more promos that might come out.
That's all Pat cares about, the promos.
You have to go to every continent to get these promos. No,
right.
I'm because I also remember you saying that you've started playing the game as well. I during the first lockdown started playing myself a lot more, and I actually went to the Brilliant Stars pre-release to play, and the difference in like scene, I guess you could say it, between the collecting side and then the actual playing side is so interesting to me, and the fact that I found it was so cool to meet people that I wouldn't even talk to walking past in the street, but they're really nice, genuine people. And I think it's just a really nice way of connecting people together, like socially. So I also thought maybe that kind of, because you started playing, might be another kind of tempt to get you over here.
Yeah, I mean, I would love, what a story it would be to go from collector to world champion.
Like, that's what I was saying to Chloe. That was a series I wanted to do. But I don't think I could. I don't think I could get enough points to actually do it.
That's the thing. Like, these guys are like on it. Like, the commitment required. I did the research is so much. And I'm a father first. I'm a husband second. And I have a team of businesses that I run. I don't logically think that it would be possible unless I gave up something that was very important to me, and I don't want to do that. But playing in local tournaments, I definitely want to do. I still cringe though. I'm watching these guys shuffle their cards, and I'm like, why are you shuffling it so hard? You're damaging them.
They're all magicians. They all do the.
Yeah,
I dropped all my cards. I was like, oh damn, hold on.
And if you were to go, would you bling out your deck? Like try to get the gold and the.
I met someone. I think I can't remember her name, but she and her boyfriend, they had 6 decks.
I remember you telling me.
And they had a deck box, and they had, like you said, every single top tier version of that card, where it's the secret rare, gold, whatever. Ew. And I was like, how surely that is so much money. But then when you kind of compare it, we're spending money opening packs.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's
they just build the deck and they're done. They don't have to spend any more money.
Yeah, they literally aren't. So it's really cool. I was like, wow, that is a blinged out deck. But there was me with my reverse hollow trainer stadium. I was like, I got the reverse hollow version.
Trying to fit in here.
Right, I'd come with a blinged out deck and then go, okay, now tell me what to do, because
now I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, the pre-release events are really cool because from how it's done now, I believe, is that everyone's given pretty much a pre-made deck, and anyone at any ability can come and play because there's no kind of gap between you. You can't come up against someone who has a blinged out deck because you just get wiped with the floor. So they're really, really fun. And if anyone's watching that is ever interested into actually playing the TCG, I would highly suggest going to one of those first because everyone's on the same playing field, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I loved it. I'm going to go for the Astral Radiance one as well, whenever that is.
I should do that.
I think I might be in LA. I think I actually just remembered I might be in LA when that happens.
Oh no.
So yeah, I might have to miss that one. But it's really, I love the playing side. It's so much fun. And like I said, I'd love to have done a series of going pro, but like you said, it's almost not insulting, but it's it's not something you could do half-assed. You've
got to put everything into it.
You have to be as dedicated as someone who is trying to make it pro, like, because
Mm-hmm.
they're taking it seriously. So you should too. But if you don't have the time, then you can't do it.
The time is a big thing as well, I think.
For sure. Yeah.
That goes into it.
But I was trying to think of anything else to say. Like
I think we've covered a lot.
We've picked your brain quite
We've
a
done
while.
a deep dive into Deep Pocket Monster.
This was super fun. Thank you both so much.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out to come on the channel. Like I said, we wanted this to be, you know, a fairly guest-based podcast, and you are our first guest, so you have that honor of being the first ever guest on the channel, and we'll definitely have you back in the future. And obviously when me and Dean can travel a bit more, if you ever come to England, we can all get together in person again as well. That would be incredible, because obviously we were able to meet up when I came to the States, and me and Dean are actually going to America
next month
in a few weeks time, but we're going to be on the East Coast.
Okay,
we're only there for a week, so it's kind of we get there, got a few bits to do, and get home. I feel like it's always rushed. Whenever we plan these trips, they're always rushed. There's too many people to see, too much to do. But hopefully we'll do some other trips as well.
We'll see each other, I'm sure. I'm 100% sure of it.
Definitely.
So, guys, that is going to wrap up the episode of the Pokey Podcast. If you have enjoyed it, be sure to smash that like button. Also, definitely go check Pat out. His links will be in the description. It's Deep Pocket Monster on YouTube. And yeah, hopefully we can have you back very soon, Pat. Probably when you're at 500 to 1 million subscribers, you can update us on how everything's going. Actually, we can talk about
We'll do that as a milestone.
Yeah, we can do the humidity video as well. So thank you very much for being on, man. That's going to wrap it up, guys. We'll catch you very soon. But until then, goodbye.
Bye, guys.